Chief Minister is guilty as charged, and one suspects, and this is the interesting part, that he would not deny it either. As paradoxical as this may sound, the opposition has a lot to do with creating the circumstances that give Yogi Adityanath the confidence to appeal to a sense of siege among some Hindus. For far too long, for vote bank considerations, the opposition has relied on perpetuating a culture of religious and caste exceptionalism in India. Simply put, through a variety of stratagems, it has picked at the seams of some of the deepest fault lines running through the social fabric. The Hindu community has been diced up into several categories in the name of social justice, and the Muslims have been corralled into a monolithic vote bank by manufacturing fear of the majority. Viewers, it's for this reason that the BJP today sees itself as the defender of a monolithic Hindu interest. Of course, it has suffered a few reversals in this direction because it found that its grand social coalition constructed over the last 10 years was fractured in this 2024 Lok Sabha elections. It found that some of its non-core Hindutva voters, or those voters that were beyond its core Hindutva support base, drifted away and joined some of the opposition ranks, especially in Uttar Pradesh, viewers. And with Yogi Adityanath keen on sending out a message, a reaffirmatory message, that his party is still on top of things, especially ahead of a slew of by-elections in the state of Uttar Pradesh, we have heard him speak to a sense of Hindu anxiety. But let's ask an open-ended question, viewers, because we don't want to prejudge this issue. It's a sensitive one. Is Mr. Yogi Adityanath guilty of communal polarization, or is his message a timely call, a wake-up call to Hindus before it is too late? Viewers, let's open this up. Let's ask some fundamental questions. I want to first begin by setting the stage, by getting the opposition to put its argument forward. Though predictable, let's get a sense of why they feel aggrieved, why they feel that Yogi Adityanath is being a communalist, in their words. And let me just take you through some of those reactions. Akhilesh Yadav, the Samajwadi Party chief, says job of responsible people is to protect from fear, not to spread fear. Atmosphere of fear has been created by BJP rule, a disgraceful statement by Mr. Yogi Adityanath. Amik Jamai, Samajwadi Party spokesperson, says, who is the one dividing people of India? Remark exposes a mindset of communal division. Asaduddin Owaisi, AIMIM chief, says Yogi Adityanath has targeted Muslims in speeches. Yogi Adityanath can't preach unity to anyone. So, let me ask you, on what basis is the opposition picking this absolute bone of contention with Yogi Adityanath? Tehseen Poonawalla, would you like to go first?
Rahul, at the onset, a very happy Janmashtami to you, to all my fellow panelists and all my viewers. May Lord Krishna bless our country. It is unfortunate that the sitting chief minister of a great state like Uttar Pradesh and our country, India, speaks such nonsense on such a pious day. Let's ask some basic fundamental questions. If Hindus are going to be cut, who will cut them? If someone is going to cut our Hindu fellow citizens, Anand is an atheist but of Hindu origin, Ratan Chadha ji, if someone's going to cut them, what is the chief minister doing? What is the home minister of India doing? What is the prime minister of India doing? Are they sitting? They don't know that people are going to cut them. Whose job is it? Number two, since he's talking about Bangladesh, a friendly neighbor of ours, where there is a problem right now with Hindus in Bangladesh, and he's obviously spoiling diplomatic relations, but okay, which a chief minister shouldn't speak, but chalo, given that he wants to polarize elections for 10 assembly seats, he's spoken about Bangladesh. May I humbly ask him, why doesn't the present union government extend the date on CA from the vague 31st December 2014? I've challenged that in Supreme Court, and I've been on several panels with Anand Ranganathan. I'm asking you, Rahul, and I'm asking my doctor and Dr. Anand Ranganathan, for whom I have a lot of respect. What is 31st December 2014? What is this cutoff date? It's a vague date that's come in some Babu's head, or it's come in the Honorable Prime Minister's head, or it's some balloon that's bursted in the Honorable Home Minister's head, or it's some gas balloon that's bursted in one of the Home Secretary's head. What is 31st December 2014? Where does this date come from? Why is this vague date? After 31st December 2014, you've had Taliban takeover of Afghanistan. You've had what's happened in Bangladesh. Why is that vague date? Why has that not been extended? Now I know the reply will be, oh, because if you extend it, Modi ji will get scared. You will not allow him to work. You will not allow him to function. So we've heard all of that. Please, without crying victim, explain to me what is 31st December 2014 for CA. Number two, if someone's going to cut Hindus, who are these someone, and what is the Chief Minister, Home Minister, and Prime Minister doing? And they are so incapable. My request to them via you is resign, step down. We will run the country, and we'll run it much better than they
are. Okay, so let's get the other side. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, since you have been invoked, and let me tell you, Tehseen, that I have written a piece recently for the Open magazine saying that...
I read it.
Yeah, so there you go. So let me just bring in Dr. Ranganathan. All that be as it may, Dr. Ranganathan, Tehseen Poonawalla seems to be suggesting that this is empty fear-mongering for the sake of fear-mongering. Do you buy into this?
Well, was the 1990 genocide of Kashmiri Hindus empty scaremongering? Was it? Do I need to ask rhetorically my good friend Tehseen, who is going to cut the Hindus? Does he not know who cut the Hindus in 1990? Is this a question to be asked? Look, Rahul, coming back to this very painful topic, and I'm glad we're having this discussion finally, and thank you for it. Look, Yogi Adityanath is a good man. He's a noble man. I don't doubt his intentions. He's a Sanatani. He works not only for every segment of the society, but also has Hindu interests in mind. And this country will survive only when Hinduism survives. So I don't doubt his sincerity in what he said. And in what he said, he is correct. If Hindus are divided, we will be destroyed. The history of our civilization has proved this time and again. Let me illustrate this with a contemporary example, because there are hundreds of examples that are historical. But this is a contemporary one, which we ourselves have forgotten. Remember how the entire Indian Muslim community united, and many of them indulged in the infamous Azad Maidan riots to force the Indian government to take in Muslim Rohingya refugees from Myanmar during the UPA? Well, it resulted in us taking in 40,000 Rohingya Muslim refugees. It is another matter that no one from the same Indian Muslim community ever united or forced the Indian government to settle the 7 lakh Kashmiri Hindus who were driven out from their homes. Anyhow, all the Hindus remember Azad Maidan. But do any Hindus, do they remember Khamong Sheikh? We don't, Rahul. What is Khamong Sheikh? Khamong Sheikh is a place in Myanmar where Muslim Rohingyas murdered more than 100 Hindus and their families mercilessly, raped, pillaged, even buried some alive. Many among those Rohingya Muslims who committed this atrocity might be right now in India as refugees. But as I said, no Hindu ever came out to talk about Khamong Sheikh. All we do is get jealous of Indian Muslims uniting for Rohingya Muslims, uniting for Palestinian Muslims. Rahul, if you are jealous of someone else's unity, it means you are divided. So our fate is sealed. But then again, I ask Yogi ji, is the fact that 7 lakh Hindu refugees are still in their own land, the refugees, a result of Hindu disunity? Yogi ji, fact is, jab Hindu bate hain, bate nahi hai, tab bhi wo kate hain. Fact is, Hindus united to choose a government that promised to work for their interests, not once, but what has the government done except give patronizing lectures? Has constitutional, legal, educational, social discrimination against the Hindus ended? Far from it. Has the BJP removed state control of Hindu temples, thereby allowing Hindus to make thousands of their schools and hospitals to prevent lakhs of Hindus leaving the fold of Hinduism in the face of incentives by other religions? No. Has this BJP government removed the Places of Worship Act? No. Has this BJP government removed the Waqf Act? No. Has this BJP government removed the conjunction of RT with 93rd Amendment that is allowing only the Hindu-run schools to be shut down? No. Has this BJP government rehabilitated 7 lakh Kashmiri Hindus who are victims of genocide? No. Is that a result of Hindu disunity? No. The fact of the matter is Hindus united and they did what any democratic country can do other than going for street veto, which the other community does, like in Azad Maidan. Hindus united and said, here is a government that is promising us to deliver something that is just, that is going to remove discrimination. So Yogi ji, I don't doubt your interest, but अपने गरिबान में झांक के देखिए. Hindus unite, okay, आपको चुना, आपने क्या किया उनके लिए?
That's an interesting take. Let me bring in Ratan Sharda on this point. He's an RSS thinker and also Kamru Chaudhary. Ratan Sharda, what do you make of these remarks? Now, you've heard Tehseen, and Tehseen says that, look, at the end of the day, this is fear-mongering. You are trying to create this sort of spectre of minorityism and some sort of a obvious malign intent amongst Muslims that when they sort of exceed a particular number, then they will come after Hindus. And of course, there are many in our society who have been pointing to Indonesia and other countries saying there the Muslims are in a majority, and because they are in a majority, the Hindus there are okay because there is no RSS and all of that there. So there is no backlash, there is no reason to irritate the Muslims. How do you respond to these comments?
Rahul, actually it is laughable because Hindus are not there from RSS is not there from 7th century onwards. RSS is hardly a force when partition took place. RSS was nowhere in 1921 Mopla riots happened. So all this talk is pure BS, to put it very bluntly. Now coming to Krishna Janmashtami, which we remember, I would remember very piously Krishna not playing flute, but Krishna having Sudarshan Chakra. That is my view of Krishna. Now, also talking about divisive politics, there is a gentleman in Kashmir who said that we will reward terrorists, we will give them 1 crore, we will release all the terrorists arrested in Kashmir, and they will hang BJP leaders who were unjust to Kashmiris. So what kind of statement is this? And does any of the Congress person support it? Does Rahul Gandhi support it? And why unifying Hindus are a problem, but dividing country in the name of Ummah, in the name of secularism, by creating fear psychosis and creating Pakistan and Bangladesh is very, very secular? I do not know. And when you talk about a sect or religion which is keeping quiet about on injustice of their own people, whether gender or whether basis of their own sect, Shia, Sunni, etc., you keep quiet, that's secularism. And you will not speak about that, but you will speak about casteism in Hindu Dharma. You will try to break them. You will spread fake news during entire 2024 and try and gain maximum mileage in terms of votes, dividing Hindus, and now today claiming to be secular. I do not understand what's the logic. And you support Sharia when there is Waqf Board Act, which is purely communal in every sense possible, but you want that kind of Sharia in India, but you say we are not divisive. So on the very basis on which India was divided, that basis being used now to prove that you are secular, I can't make any sense of it. And further, if we say, when somebody says we are not kafirs, we are not afraid, we will fight, Mamata Banerjee, she's secular. But when somebody says that kafir should rise above caste and creed, that is communal. We have a gentleman from TMC who said that Hindus, poor Hindus, we will convert them all to take them to heaven. That is secular. But those who criticize it and say Hindus must unite, become communal. We have very, very, very diastopic kind of, debates in India, where somebody will suddenly bring in Yogi Adityanath, talk about what somebody has done something 2 days back. There's a crowd who talked about Sartan Se Juda in protesting against a sadhu who said something about a Muslim religion as quoted by themselves. So nobody takes any action. That is very secular. Nobody speaks about it. Women are raped in Bengal. Women are raped in Bengal. They are raped in various areas. We will keep quiet. Hindus are persecuted in Pakistan, in Bangladesh. We will talk about CA not having a deadline of endless deadline, but we will oppose it in every place, every street, and you will say that we will not allow CA to take place. Is this secularism? So let us come out of it. Jahan jahan Hindu ghata, wahan wahan desh bata. That is another argument I can give you. Look at Afghanistan, look at Pakistan, look at Bangladesh, and those who talk of Indonesia, you know how the situation is changing in Indonesia? Are we aware what is happening there? I wrote an article about the very, very strong moderate Muslim moderation, which is keeping away from rapid radicalism, which is being spread by Tablighi Jamaat of Indian Maulvis and Bangladeshi Maulvis. But none of them any of them ever talk about that moderate strain of Islam in Indonesia? No, because they want this polarization to happen. If they do it, it's secular. If Yogi does it, it's a communal. And as far as UP is concerned, Yogi has shown how we can control communal elements, how we can control riots, and how can he make people's life safer. So let's not get there.
Okay, just for a few seconds before I come to Mr. Kamru Chaudhary, in the context of Bangladesh, which is a context that Chief Minister Uttar Pradesh has invoked, I don't know if you can see this photograph, viewers. Here is a cleric. He is astride an open top, almost open top Toyota Land Cruiser. He's popping his body out of the sunroof. I don't know if you can see him, and he has a big mic in his hand, in fact. Do you know who this person is, viewers? This person is the Mufti Jashimuddin Rahmani, who is the chief of the Ansarullah Bangla team, or BAT, an Al-Qaeda inspired militant who basically, viewers, is highly bigoted, has very ingrained anti-India sentiments, routinely goes out to bait Indians, and that to Hindu Indians, and he has received a hero's welcome and a state escort, if you please, as he is released from jail by the interim administration in Bangladesh, my friends. And here he is giving his victory speech with this big loudspeaker in his hand, viewers. So the pseudo-liberal ecosystem in India that was celebrating people's power in Bangladesh, warning Modi that listen, this will happen to you here. Now look at what the revolutionaries have fished out from their hat of possibilities, viewers. And you tell me, if Mr. Yogi Adityanath is not right to fear for the future of Hindus that is already facing an existential crisis in Bangladesh. So, Mr. Kamru Chaudhary, you know, it's all very well to suggest that Mr. Yogi Adityanath is rallying the Hindus, etc., he's being communal, but the facts speak for themselves. And let me ask you, sir, let's come back to India, and I think Dr. Ranganathan began with that example close to home. So let me ask you, Mr. Chaudhary, what happened to the Hindus that were living in India's only Muslim majority geography, Kashmir, the valley? Can you tell me?
Yeah. Can you also tell us what is Congress?
Rahul,
back?
No, one second. Let him just answer that question. What happened to those Hindus, Rahul, and why do you think they were thrown out of Kashmir, which is the only Muslim majority geography in this country? I mean, there are others, but I'm talking about a whole territory, union territory.
Rahul, before I answer your question, can I have the liberty of just a minute to reply to the actual debate that was happening?
You can, sir, reply to anyone
Thank you
and not answer my question. You also have that liberty. Don't worry. I am a very liberal person.
Okay,
so
thank you.
You are liberty not to answer my question. You can answer everyone else's question. I know these questions can be a little tough to answer.
Let me answer the first basic point of debate tonight is the Yogi Adityanath's comment. Let me take the reference of Kangana Rawat's comment, or rather outrageous comments against the farmers' agitation. Immediately, Bharatiya Janata Party had to come out with a clarification that it did not subscribe to Kangana Rawat's statement. What was the reason? Because Haryana elections are coming up. In Haryana, there are no Muslims to be wooed by the Bharatiya Janata Party. Rather, the entire voters of Haryana will be up and against the BJP if the BJP did not come with a clarification. In Uttar Pradesh, the reverse is happening. I will not cite the example of Uttar Pradesh alone, but it's happening across the country. Take the example of Assam's Hemanta Biswa Sharma and his statements are in line with what Yogi Adityanath wanted to project today. Basically, the difference between the two chief ministers is that One is governing the world's largest state of the Indian Union, and another is in a ecologically or geographically very sensitive part of India. Both of them are gaslighting as well as stereotyping simple incidents to vilify a particular community, that is the Muslim community out here. Otherwise, you see,
so what is the meaning of the term gaslighting?
I'm coming to that.
No, explain the term gaslighting, please, because some of our viewers may not know what this word means.
When the sitting Chief Minister of Assam, who has taken oath on the Constitution of India, says that it is very dangerous that Muslims are going to overtake the Hindus in Assam without any visible data. He says that rapists happening in Mia areas are brought out from the Mia areas with obvious reference to the Muslim community.
So, no, hang on. We are now talking about the Chief Minister of Assam. Can we talk about Yogi Adityanath? I thought that is who we are discussing. It's not connected. Let's first speak to. No, hang on. Let's first speak of Yogi Adityanath and ask me in the context of that, what is this gaslighting that you think he's indulging in? When he says in the context of Bangladesh, for example. You see, I want to ask you, sir, do you have a problem admitting to the fact that the majority Muslims in Bangladesh are killing Hindus because the sense of Muslim victimhood that is constantly invoked in this subcontinent would then not apply? Is that the reason? Why are you not answering my question about what happened in Kashmir, which was the only Muslim majority geography in this country?
You are wrong. This
Am I wrong?
Only Muslim majority. Because Lakshadweep is also having more than 90% Muslim population.
Sir, do you know? I don't want to say anything.
It's a fact.
But no, hang on. In Lakshadweep, when there was certain talk of reforms, do you know what happened?
Yes, of course.
So then what are you talking about? Where is that? No, where was their opposition coming from and what basis? Hang on. What basis was the opposition? It was religious. So I'm asking you, in a secular country, why is it that one community always thinks that it can veto on religious lines? And I'm asking you this question, sir.
Rahul, if your debate tonight is a one-to-one debate, then it's okay. Otherwise, can I make my points here?
But I'm asking you to answer questions. You have come to answer questions. I gave you the space to give you a long preface. But you have not answered my fundamental question. If Yogi Adityanath is lying through his teeth about the fact that when Hindus get divided, jab wo batenge to katenge. I am asking you very simply this.
That's what the point was coming out here.
No, you talk in the context of, let's take a couple of examples. Let's look at Punjab, sir. At the height of terrorism there, why were Hindus being pulled out of buses and lined up and shot? What was happening in Kashmir? Can you answer these questions?
This is a greater sinister plot.
Greater sinister plot, greater this, greater that. Okay, Dr. Ranganathan and Tehseen Poonawala wants to come in. No, I think you don't want to answer my question.
I have not finished here.
You are filibustering, sir. You are not answering my question.
No, because you don't want to listen to the factual facts out here. The RSS in a sinister campaign have orchestrated this hate from the state. Otherwise, in Madhya Pradesh, the bulldozer.
Sir, can I ask you, should the Congress party have tied up with the... No, you are talking about the RSS. Let me ask you, should the Congress party have tied up... No, hang on, let me ask you this question. Straight off. No, let me ask you a question straight off.
For a protest against the state.
Kamru Chaudhary Saab, please be reasonable.
Somebody who protested against the RSS,
Can you be a little reasonable, sir? Can you be reasonable?
No, my last question to you.
I have one question.
Sir,
I will ask a question.
Okay, 1 minute. Now I have to exert my authority as the as the moderator of this debate, and I have to step in and say, sorry, Mr. Chaudhary, you are not answering my question. You are sidestepping it. Perhaps you are gaslighting. I don't know. Let me bring in Dr. Ranganathan. Dr. Ranganathan, what do you make of this argument, this business of sidestepping my question?
Rahul, your question would have taken less than 10 logical, rational person without an agenda to answer. What you asked was about the Kashmiri Hindus and them being victim of genocide. That question, it's been 8 minutes and wasn't answered. But that's besides the point. I want to make 2 quick points. Number 1, would the panelists on your panel tonight, would they accept the fact that if today's BJP government were to make a law, so-called Communal Violence Bill, BJP government, where it says that in the face of any communal riot, only the Muslims will be held guilty, what would be the reaction? I want to ask.
Tehseen
Kamru
Poonawala.
and my good friend Tehseen. They
Tehseen
would go to
Poonawala, would you
United
like to
Nations.
respond?
They would do a dharna outside United Nations with all their coterie of journalists and
No, they'll
every
go to
media
Shaheen
person.
Bagh as they did with the CA.
But
Yeah.
the Congress did exactly the same thing. The Communal Violence Bill 2009-2011 was saying in the face of any communal riot, the majority will be
Can I
held
please-
guilty.
I want to
This
ask
is the
you,
problem.
I cannot
This is
believe.
this.
Am I allowed
Mr.
to-
Poonawala.
Can I now answer?
Mr.
I
Poonawala.
cannot believe on such an on
Can I raise a
the
question?
nation's number one on the nation's number one show, we are actually talking about a bill that did not come into effect. There was some draft which was never came into effect.
Some draft?
Now, please allow, look, you must allow me to
Okay,
speak.
yeah, go ahead.
Dr.
I'm not
Ranganathan
stopping
wasn't
you.
here. There is no communal violence bill. There was some idea propagated by somebody. By the way, majority also means linguistic majority. That bill also says linguistic majority. For examples, like the BJP and the Shiv Sena and the MNS were beating up non-Marathi speaking people in Maharashtra. That was linguistic Marathi. It could be a Hindu who does not know how to speak Marathi and you were getting beaten up. That was for that. But because of but that bill never came into effect. Point number one. Point number two. Now let me address two very specific questions that nobody is willing to address. I grant Dr. Ranganathan that our Hindu fellow citizens have of course suffered in Kashmir. It's another matter that the Jagmohan and BJP were in government, but I am saying even the Congress, everyone, in today 11 years of the strongest man in the universe, Modi ji, and 6 years of Vajpayee ji, in the last 25 years, 16 years of BJP, who has returned back to Kashmir? Zero.
Tell
You
me
spoke
why.
about the Waqf bill.
Tell me, no, one second.
is-
No,
because-
Tehseen
because
Poonawala,
these
why
people
are they
should
not
resign.
returning?
Now,
Can I
now,
supplement
you-
Why don't you
Supplement
answer that
statement.
question? Why are they not returning?
supplement
What is it that
Sir,
the Kashmiri
sir.
Hindus fear? Why do
The
they not want to
Kashmiri
go back?
Hindus don't have
I
the
wanted-
Kashmiri
Tehseen, one
Hindus
second, you-
don't
Can I
have
just
Together on
supplement
the
the
same-
question?
You must
No,
allow me to
Tehseen-
speak, Dr. Ranganathan, but after you I'll speak. You please make your point,
Tehseen-
but allow me the time
Yes.
to speak.
Can I make a
sorry to
point?
interrupt, but we were together,
Sure.
Tehseen, we were together on a panel, and when I said I want my Kashmiri Hindu brothers to return and to be settled safely and securely in Israel-like settlements, you know what happened? The zombie army, the uneducated Islamists went after me saying I'm calling for a genocide. When all I was doing was asking for the people who are victims of genocide to be rehabilitated.
And,
This is what
and
you're
I
fighting against.
and
have
Indian
another
Muslims
question.
stood by you. Did I not
Allow
stand
me
by
a
you?
question.
and
Okay, one
publicly
second.
tweeted?
Viewers-
Allow me a question,
one second.
please.
Allow me. No one's answered
Rahul,
one
just
question.
one
So
question.
Ratanji, just for
I'm
you, I'm
raising a
asking a
question.
question.
Yeah, one second,
Ratan
Ratan
Ji,
Chadha, let him
I
pose
will
his
ask you a
question. You
question.
can respond to it. No problem.
You only
Yes.
respond. I am granting what Dr. Ranganathan said, that lots of atrocities have happened on Hindus in India. I'm granting him. When the BJP was not in power, today, after 11 years of these two in power, Modi ji and Amit Shah ji and Yogi ji, tell me one Hindu reform they've done. They didn't even have the guts to bring the Waqf Act.
No,
The
hang on.
Waqf Act
Just a
लाने में
minute,
उनको
just
guts
a
नहीं है.
minute, just a
वो
minute.
act
Now,
लाने में
now
वो
look,
भी
look,
भेज
it's
दिया उन्होंने
easy,
parliamentary
it's
committee.
easy to start sort of unspooling on this to find a way
They have
out
nothing
of
but
the, no,
Hindu
one
Muslim
second,
in
one
their
second, one second. Tehseen
बिना
Poonawala.
हिंदू मुस्लिम
No,
की
one
इनकी
second,
गाली
one
करती
second,
है.
one second. Viewers, let me take your memory back a little bit to 2019.
Just one question.
In
Rahul, just one
2019, yeah, okay, yes, Mr. Sharda, go ahead. Ask your question.
My
आप
simple
पहले बताएं
question
ना,
to
who's cutting
Tehseen and
Hindus?
his friend is, their Congress party is saying that we will restore 370, we will take away all the earlier laws. So you have discrimination against women, you have
Congress
discrimination
has not
against
said that.
scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, you have
Congress has not
citizenship
said
rights
that.
from
Never
35.
said about
No,
Congress has
don't
not
try
said
to
that.
wait.
After Supreme
You
Court
are
verdict,
in touch with that.
370
And I
Okay, just
showed
a
you-
minute.
Spread
I just
lies
talked
Okay,
about-
let's not talk over
And I
each
just
other.
showed this video. I showed this video which clearly says we will release all the terrorists, we will pay them 1 crore rupees, and we will hang BJP leaders. That's your Congress leader saying.
No, no,
And
just a
you
second.
restoring
Of course we said
370.
about-
One
You are
second,
in
one
direct
second.
coalition
Viewers,
with-
Of course
Are you
we
going
Viewers,
to
let me
take
just
the
step in here, please. No
confidence?
cross talk, please. No cross talk. One second. Hang on.
So don't
I
try
just
to
want
evade the
to.
main
I just want to very
RSS
quickly,
spreads
viewers,
lies
very
and
quickly
Ratan
talk
Chadha.
about. Hang on. Talk about a very simple law that was passed, the CAA. If you remember, viewers, the CAA
challenged
was
it.
brought. No, one second. The CAA was brought, viewers. Why? The CAA was brought simply to give refuge to minorities in Bangladesh, Pakistan and Afghanistan. Predominant amongst those minorities are Hindus. To bring Hindus back from places where they were suffering genocide, and this no one can dispute. Maybe Kamru Chaudhary might dispute it, but others will not. Certainly, all three others will agree with me. But I just want to say, viewers, what happened? You had riots in Delhi when a visiting president was in town. You had for about a year and 3 months Shaheen Bagh occupied. You had several other little protests of Shaheen Bagh. Why, viewers? If the community was so open-minded to Hindu interests, loved their Hindu brothers to that extent, why were they against this bill?
5-second answer.
No one will answer. Yes, okay, Dr. Ranganathan, before I move on. Yes.
Can I answer?
I'll explain to you the psyche.
Yeah.
The psyche that has led to this. Quote, basically, the responsibility for communal peace rests on the majority community, that is the Hindus.
Yeah.
If there is a breach of this peace, I would start with the presumption that it has been caused by the Hindu communal elements, unquote, Jawaharlal Nehru 1959. This is the psyche. Unless we decode this, Rahul, we will never understand why the Hindus have been discriminated in this country.
And
the
the
communal
problem
violence bill was not just a draft. It was the progeny of this thinking.
Yes.
And it was done by the NAC under the aegis of Sonia Gandhi.
So let me say, viewers, in this country, Sonia Gandhi allegedly cried buckets, according to her own, at that time, trusted minister, Salman Khurshid Saab, because there was an encounter that took place. Now, subsequently, everyone has tried to sort of deny that statement, this, that, the other, but just open your Google and type in, and Salman Khurshid, Sonia ji wiped tears and cried when the encounter was taking place in the Union capital against Simi terrorists. So, viewers, let's not try to obfuscate here. I am not saying that Yogi Adityanath has no motive in trying to unite the Hindu voter. We've had an election where people like Rahul Gandhi, who went on this great Bharat Jodo Yatra, also campaigned on the slogan, which was very divisive and created identity competitiveness, Jitni Abadi Utna Haq. So that was an attempt also to divide the Hindu voter, and they succeeded. So the BJP is conscious of that, and they're trying to sort of polarize. But who's given them the excuse to do so? Fundamentally, viewers, you have to ask yourself, this appeal is being heard or has been heard, or there is traction for it because there is some truth at the end of the day to this slogan, batenge to katenge. Why are we mincing our words?
You're gaslighting, nothing else.
You have had it during the British, who decided to divide you. They played divide and rule between Hindus and Muslims. And yes, hum bate to kate. And that happened, viewers. You happened before that, when the first wave of settler colonization happened with Muslim rulers who came in. Our places of worship, a lot of Hindu places of worship were demolished, destroyed. Why was all that done, viewers? So, Dr. Ranganathan, yes, of course, Modi may not have satiated every Hindu's desire to turn this into a Hindu Mecca and so on and so forth. He's tried to do whatever he could do. Some people have come away feeling a little disappointed, but that doesn't mean that we forget the fact that when there are problems like in countries like Bangladesh, and certain leaders stand up and point them out, we should decry them as communalists. That was gaslighting, viewers, to use a word that Mr. Kamru Chaudhary has used. He will not answer another fundamental question. Why did the Congress and the left, for example, share a platform with the ISF in Bengal in the elections? He will not answer that question. He will not answer what is the mentality that led to a pogrom of Hindus or against Hindus in Kashmir. No answer there. He will also not tell us why is it that the Congress party takes no strong position against the DMK Sayan, who came out and said and he calls himself an atheist. He came out and said that, look, Sanatan Dharma should be eradicated. Can you imagine, viewers, saying that about any other minority religion? What would happen to the people who were making those slogans? They would lose their heads. So, viewers, let's not complicate this issue too much, overthink it too much. There is a problem. Hopefully, it will get addressed if we all come together as a community. I want to move on, viewers, because there is a lot of hypocrisy to be called out. Not just Kolkata, but in another state under India bloc rule, women's safety has been mocked. In Kerala, women actors have begun speaking out on institutionalized sexual violence against women in the Mollywood film industry. Two top male members of the Mollywood film industry have resigned after allegations were leveled against them. The Me Too movement there has gathered apace after the finding of a key report called the Hema committee study were buried allegedly by the state government. The report allegedly names individuals in Mollywood who have abused their power to sexually exploit wannabe actors. Malayalam filmmaker Ranjit Balakrishnan stepped down as the chairman of the state-run Kerala Chalachitra Academy on Sunday after Bengali actor Srilekha Mitra accused him of sexual misconduct. Actor Siddique also resigned as the General Secretary of the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists, AMMA, following sexual assault allegations raised by actress Revati Sampath. The star stepped down after the release of the Hema committee report. It was in November 2017 that the Hema committee, comprising Justice Hema, actor Sarada, and bureaucrat KB Valsala Kumari, began its work. They put out a statement asking women to come forward and promised that confidentiality would be maintained. Over 80 women shared their testimony in front of a Justice Hema and spoke about the hostile environment that the Malayalam industry operates in. In 2019, the committee submitted its report to Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan. However, for 5 years, viewers, the report was lying on the shelves, gathering dust. Many claim that the government is protecting the bigwigs who will be exposed if the report comes out. The Kerala Me Too movement has hit Mollywood after the state buried this key report on casting couch syndrome. And viewers, the India Alliance says that it is committed to women's safety. One of its top leaders, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, has come out and said that मैं लड़की हूँ, मैं लड़ सकती हूँ. And when there were ladkis who were willing to fight for their rights, viewers, their own India Alliance members, the governments that are part of this alliance, basically scuppered their entire effort. And as I told you, this is not the only state. You have to look across to Bengal in Kolkata. The Supreme Court had to intervene suo motu after the HC flagged the attempt at cover-up of the gruesome RG Kar rape and murder case. And there you can see it, viewers. Is India stepping on women's safety? That's the fundamental question. The India bloc, the India Alliance. Let me ask this question of Advaita Kala, who is a women's activist in her own right. We also have Sehra Shah Halim, an activist who backs the CPM. We also have, of course, Mr. Poonawala and Dr. Ranganathan. So, Advaita Kala, I just want to ask you, there's a lot of angst, of course, that pours out of one alliance constantly when there are outrages in BJP-ruled states. But here you have an institutionalized cover-up. I'm not talking about what is happening in Kolkata, etc. I'm talking about Kerala, institutionalized cover-up, and there is pin-drop silence.
Right, and it's not unexpected. This is the way, this is the pattern, this is what happens. And this is what unfortunately is going to continue to happen, because this is a system of powerful people who protect powerful people. And you're seeing this in the Hema committee report and the inaction when it comes to that, as well as in the government hospital and that infamous principal who seems to be getting job after job and is obviously being protected. So we have a situation which is actually very, very toxic, because these are both workplace situations. Let's be clear about that. One is a government run hospital, which means it should follow all the guidelines that have been put in place by the government. And the other is an unregulated industry, which is basically migrant workers who move from film set to film set and are exploited along the way. And in both cases, in this one in particular, the CPM-led government of Pinarayi Vijayan has actually gone to great lengths to not have this report released, as opposed to acting on the suggestions or the recommendations or the findings. What has instead happened is that all the effort has been made to make sure that the powerful men who have been named in this report are protected. And Rahul, the scary thing is that in this Hema committee report, there is also reference to minor abuse of girls, and that just takes this to a whole other level. And there is reference to a mafia, a collective of men who sexually, assault and exploit women on a regular basis. So that's very, very damning. And we have to remember that it took 4.5 years and 2 pleas in the High Court for this report to come out into the public domain, with redacted parts to protect the identity of people. But when there is proof like WhatsApp messages, screenshots, videos, then why is action not being taken?
Let me ask Tehseen Poonawalla a simple question. Mr. Poonawalla, I'm reading a couple of statements. One by Rahul Gandhi in Delhi. He was standing alongside his sister Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, and he says, Priyanka will secure a larger majority than myself in Wayanad. And as we know, she's going to be a member of parliament from there. She's going to be contesting an election. The story we are talking about, the suppression of material evidence of some of the most heinous crimes that the Hema committee has talked about is happening. So, can you show me where Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has mentioned the Hema committee even once or asked a question in this regard of the left government there? Surely this should be a big issue.
Yes, it's a big issue. She will be speaking about it. I think she's going to Kerala in a day or two, and I think the
Congress she needs to speak about it once she gets to Kerala. Is that what you're saying? She couldn't have spoken about it 10 days ago.
I know that the Congress will be attacking the left government on it, and I think that this is a very serious issue. There is no if or buts. You can't do politics or whataboutery. Can't move this with Kolkata or with Uttar Pradesh or with Delhi or with anything else. This is serious. This is damning, and I think that serious action needs to be taken, and serious questions need to be asked of the Chief Minister of why is he protecting women? We have a left activist here, a left leader.
Viewers, 17 forms of exploitation in the Malayalam film industry.
Terrible.
No, 1 second. 17 forms of exploitation under an India bloc government, viewers. The primary constituent of the India bloc is the Congress party. It is silent.
Yeah, but it's not a Congress government in left. They fight each other.
I understand
just
that.
To be
that
clear.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
When you speak in parliament, you speak as one. When you walk out in parliament,
you
walk out as one.
government
When you
action
attack
should
the
be
BJP in parliament and the NDA in parliament on issues such as this, you do it as one. So I would have expected you to also take responsibility as one. But you have not. There is palpable silence. So I can't understand this. Let me bring in Saira Shah Halim. Saira Shah Halim, look, the other day you were here on this show, I think it was last week, and you were very upset with Mamata Banerjee, for example, for not doing justice by the women of Bengal. Now you have a chief minister from the CPIM. You're an activist. You're also someone who backs the CPIM. Do you feel that Pinarayi Vijayan and the India bloc are slipping on this issue, that they're getting too caught up in their own politics to look within?
See, firstly, good evening. I'm not representing the CPIM here, nor am I the spokesperson. So I will simply speak, as a women's rights activist.
Right.
I might have contested election, but right now it's best that the Kerala party office comments on this issue. I can talk about from the women's perspective that if you look at it, if you look at the Hema committee report, there have been damning evidence, of course, of sexual harassment. There's a Tollywood actress also who's made
No, we
an
know the facts.
allegation
I'm
against the
asking you,
producer.
why is it that the opposition finds itself so tongue-tied when something like this, and this is institutionalized cover-up?
Like I said, I might be backing the left, I might be backing the India Alliance, I might be backing the Congress. However, I'm not speaking here as a CPM spokesperson
No, I understand
or a
that.
Congress spokesperson or whatever. What I'm trying to say is unanimously, cut across all party lines, everyone should,
Okay.
be under the same umbrella as far as women's safety and security are concerned.
Yeah.
If you look at the TFC,
But you agree that's not happening.
That's not happening, and I'm addressing it because I'm not speaking from a colored lens. I'm simply speaking.
No,
as
I
a
understand,
mother
and I
as a
appreciate
woman
that.
as
And
a
you know the
child.
reason, viewers, it's not happening. I'll tell you the reason why it's not happening. Because women have become.
Speaking about party lines.
Okay,
Because
no, I understand.
saw the complete muffled silence of the Lok Sabha MPs from Trinamool Congress when this
Yeah.
whole RGR case was happening,
Of
and
course.
it's still happening. They are engaging in whataboutery, and I think it's really
I
appalling.
think it's very
So I think
important that we
all-
listen to Shaira Shah Halim tonight. It's very
Yeah.
important. We've
So-
heard. Well,
so
one
I
second,
think
just
we
one
should-
second. Let me bring in Dr. Ranganathan. I think you know what is happening, Dr. Ranganathan, and we have to look at it, that the opposition is using various constituencies these days. And when it benefits them, they promote that constituency. When it doesn't, then they drop it like a hot potato. Of course, the electorate is not realizing this right now, but I like the way the opposition gangs up in a BJP run state when there is an attack on women or their rights, etc., but is completely silent when the shoe is on their foot.
No,
So, what does this
yeah.
tell us?
This tells us that there are two rules. Couple of points out here, Rahul, straight up. First of all, I've always admired Tehseen, and it's no longer a surprise as to why he continues to be associated with the Congress, despite being so frank in his views and at many times condemning the Congress. Because he will never be part of the Congress. That is my reading of it. I do not know of any Congress spokesperson who has spoken so forthrightly as he has, Tehseen, on your panel tonight. So I don't know how he manages that. You remember Hathras, Rahul?
Yeah.
Every statement that Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka made, and Tehseen will testify to that, was made by including the name of Yogi Adityanath. Now, let's fast forward to the horrible happening in Bengal. Tell me one statement that Rahul has made that has included the name Mamata Banerjee. Not one. Yes, there is condemnation. Yes, there is condemnation of the police, of the administration.
No, actually,
But
Dr.
suddenly,
Ranganathan, if you read his tweet, I don't know, you can pull it out. He starts with a great, he starts with a great preface. He talks about 5 other states, by the way, and they all happen to be BJP ruled states before he comes. So he's talking about, what is happening in Rajasthan, in UP, this, that, the other. Then he comes to Bengal.
so this, when you do this, and it is in your face at times because, this is something obvious, but the left obviously is an expert in brainwashing through subtle means. So it is through posters as well. Now, if you look at the people who are protesting, especially the left in Bengal and other parts of India, they're not, caricaturing the TMC. It is India is the rape capital. India is this. Even, those places which are bleeding. It is a map of India, not of Bengal. This kind of thing happens, propaganda happens in subtle and not so subtle fashion. But the rules are two. And let me also now come to the Me Too movement. Rahul, look, I am absolute believer in justice. The fact is, my starting premise is one must always hear the victim out with sympathy and, with a lot of empathy. Yes. Having said that, we also know that a whole lot of, and Tehseen would, testify to this, Saira ji also would, and Advaita, a whole lot of careers were destroyed in India 4 or 5 years ago in the initial wave of the Me Too movement. In fact, one Mr. Aloknath, his case went even to the judge, and the judge throughout the case said this is absolute rubbish what has been alleged in Me Too against you. So many people, their careers were ruined because everyone lashed on to this. I know of journalists who started, from the rooftops taking this Me Too movement forward, but the moment their friends in the media allegations were against them, they kept absolutely quiet. So everyone was out there to take their own, basically bread from the victim house.
Yeah.
This is the tragedy of this country.
Yes.
The law doesn't prevail, and if it prevails, there are two rules.
There are two rules, and that's the problem, viewers. Today, the shoe is on the other foot, and you are seeing the response. I would expect Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, who is going to become a member of parliament, viewers, from Kerala, to have actually begun 2 days ago, not 2 days hence, when she visits, when she takes the time out to finally land in Kerala. No, viewers, if she really believes in women's rights, if it is for her a cause, you have to ask, why is she silent? I'll leave it at this, viewers. Ponder the question.
And while I was talking over his phone with that person concerned, he was touching my hand, my bangles, and it was just an innocent gesture maybe. But I wasn't comfortable because I was not in that friend zone with him, or I probably not, I'm sure, I haven't given him any kind of vibes otherwise that he can proceed.
As the Malayalam film industry is under fire, now the Kerala government has constituted a special investigation team to look into the allegations that have been raised by women against bigwigs in the film industry. The team will be headed by Crime Branch ADGP. Following explosive findings by the Hema committee report, Malayalam director Ranjit has quit as the chief of Kerala Chalchitra Academy, and this has happened after Bengali actor Srilekha Mitra accused him of sexually harassing her during the auditions of one of his films back in 2009. Along with Ranjit, noted actor Siddique is also resigned as the General Secretary of the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists following sexual assault allegations raised by a woman actor on August 24th. The allegations had sparked fresh trouble for the Pinarayi Vijayan government, which is now facing opposition flack on its alleged inaction over the Justice Hema Committee report. The report has revealed instances of harassment and exploitation of women in the Malayalam film industry, and politics has now erupted over the matter, with both the Congress and BJP accusing the CPIM-led government on trying to protect the accused.
मैं मानता हूँ कि ये बड़ी निहायत शर्मनाक बात कि जहाँ महिलाओं के खिलाफ ऐसे अपराध देखने में आए। हमारी संस्कृति क्या है, हमारा इतिहास क्या है? अरे हम तो चाहे ज्ञान हो, चाहे और उसकी पूजा करते हैं, और यहाँ पे हमारी अपनी बहनों बेटियों के साथ इस तरह का व्यवहार मिले। मेरी मिलते कि कितने कड़े शब्दों का प्रयोग किया जाए।
CNN News 18's Neetu Regukumar spoke with that had many important females from the industry, very, very reputed names, including actors like Parvati, who were part of that, had allegations. Now, Beena Paul, I beg your pardon, has in fact spoken about the resignations, these high-profile resignations of not just director Ranjit, but also actor Siddique.
One by State Chalachitra Academy and Chairman and filmmaker Ranjit, and Siddique, who is also the General Secretary of as a founding member of the Women in Cinema Collective.
Climate change is on our doorstep. With 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree. A News 18 net.
Powered by.
Well, what the Women in Cinema Collective has been saying all along is there are people who do not believe that women are supposed to be there in the industry, who have certain attitudes, etc. Spoken, who have forced this to happen. This is fantastic, and I don't think it should end with this. I think there should be serious but more than that, we certainly believe that the Hema report is talking about a situation in the industry. We have
Also, CNN News 18's Kamalika Sen Gupta has spoken with actress Srilekha Mitra on her allegations against
It happened way back in 2009, at the very juncture when I was going through my marital problems. I got this offer. In Mr. Ranjit's direction, and by then I was doing the serial in Bandhan in Star Plus, Star Jalsha, and I had gone there because they wanted me to come over. Everything was provided, my tickets and my information. It is the film hasn't started, but it would start very soon. That was what has been conveyed to me, maybe the next month or so. I'm very cautious in certain regard. I have a very strict regulation, what I would and what I won't. So, whom I knew, whom I have worked with before, and he asked me to follow. You want to talk to him? I said, yeah, why not? So he asked me to follow him. I followed him. His bedroom was dark. There was this adjoining balcony. And while I was talking over his phone with that person concerned, he was touching my hand, my bangles, and it was just an innocent gesture maybe. But I wasn't comfortable because I was not in that friend zone with him, or I probably not, I'm sure, I haven't given him any kind of vibes otherwise that he can succeed.
As the Malayalam industry is on fire, the government has constituted a special investigation team to look into the allegations that have been raised by
CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio.
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching The Right Stand with me, Poonam Burde, and we're coming to you live from the CNN News 18 Federal Bank Primetime Studio. Turmoil in our neighborhood came to a head when Sheikh Hasina was ousted and forced to flee a country she called home, a country her family fought to keep together. What followed was riots and violence specifically targeted towards the minorities in Bangladesh, which is the Hindu community. Homes and properties razed to the ground, temples vandalized, and many Hindu families living in fear of repercussions. Now, using that analogy, today, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath emphasized the importance of national unity. He said that the strength of the nation lay in staying together. Making a reference to the Bangladesh crisis, Yogi Adityanath said, "Batenge to katenge." Let's take you in detail what the Chief Minister said and the political fireworks that followed. Yogi Adityanath was unveiling a statue of Rashtraveer Durgadas Rathore in Agra on the occasion of Janmashtami today, where he said, "Batenge to katenge," which translates to "if we are divided, you shall perish." The BJP says the intent of the Chief Minister was to learn from the Bangladesh crisis so that we don't make those same mistakes or face that kind of crisis. The opposition says it's an attempt to create fear. The Chief Minister went on to say that if we're together, we will be secure, we'll reach the pinnacle of prosperity. The focus was on making a pitch of a united front, but the opposition says this is just another attempt by the Mahant Chief Minister to woo the Hindu vote bank. The nation will be strong only if we stay united and virtuous, he said, sending a message of nation first for Vikas and empowerment, says the BJP. But the Saffron Party's rivals only see a polarization ploy. Does the opposition's criticism, meanwhile, hold water? There are several decisions that have been taken by the Uttar Pradesh government in the past that the opposition says have smacked of a bias towards the minority community. Take a look at some of these examples. In July 2024, this year, the Uttar Pradesh government asked eateries on the Kawad Yatra route to display the names of the owners. That decision was stayed by the Supreme Court. July this year, there was a stricter love jihad law that came to the fore that was passed in the assembly. A lifetime provision was added in that. Madrasas were asked to transfer non-Muslim students to government schools. Unregistered madrasas too were ordered to transfer all students. Remember, the state government has been looking at madrasas and whether or not they are registered with the state government or no. There has been a survey that has been undertaken by the state government. September 2022, Waqf properties were also surveyed by the state government to identify unregistered properties. Now, this is what the track record looks like, but in this case, is the politics justified? Is this merely a message of unity? Is this also an attempt to blunt the caste card, a chorus that the opposition seems to be growing? Or is there more than meets the eye? We ask that on The Right Stand tonight.
कटेंगे तो कटेंगे, एक रहेंगे तो नेक रहेंगे। बहनों और भाइयों, राष्ट्र से बढ़कर के कुछ नहीं हो सकता, कुछ नहीं हो सकता। और राष्ट्र तब सशक्त होगा जब हम एक रहेंगे, नेक रहेंगे, तभी नेक रहेंगे।
खुद वो भारत की बेइज्जती कर रहे हैं, भारत को कंपेयर कर रहे हैं बांग्लादेश से। उनके राज में कई फॉल्स एनकाउंटर्स हुए अल्पसंख्यक समाज मुसलमानों के।
देखिए, वो प्रधानमंत्री बनना चाहते हैं, कम से कम प्रधानमंत्री का रोल उन्हें नहीं प्ले करना चाहिए। ये पहली बार नहीं मुख्यमंत्री जी कर रहे हैं, मुख्यमंत्री जी पहले भी कह चुके हैं। मुझे उम्मीद है कि दिल्ली वाले इन्हें समझाएंगे कि दिल्ली वाले फैसलों पर वो हस्तक्षेप न करें।
Let's open this up. National spokesperson of the BJP, Sanju Verma, joins us. Professor Sangeet Ragi, political analyst. Adil Hassan, spokesperson of the AIMIM, and Rashid Sharif, president of the SIM-PLB, with us on this as well. Adil Hassan, let me open by asking you, why do you think this is a polarizing statement by the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh?
And because the same Chief Minister has in the assembly told that a girl was molested, 16 accused was there, only one Yadav and one Muslim name was given by the Chief Minister. Chief Minister told Muslim Yadav officer, Kurmi officer को हटा दो. The same Chief Minister when Akhilesh Yadav vacated the Chief Minister house, he helped in गंगा जल से उसको उन्होंने उस आवाज को धुलवाया. बिहार में जीतनराम मांझी जी इतने, अगर एकता की बात करते हैं, बिहार में जीतनराम मांझी जी एक मंदिर में गए, चीफ मिनिस्टर थे, उनको धुलवाया गया. अगर चीफ मिनिस्टर इतने ही है तो मैं आपको बता दूं 22% from the Brahman community are the minister in whole India. 6.7% are from the Kshatriya, from Kayas, from all the upper caste. Why not you give ask the chief minister to resign the chief minister post? Give the post to any Dalit community. He will be the chief minister. He want the Hindu ekta. He want the Hindu. He want to become that he is the champion of Hindu community. Give the post to others. And he is talking about Bangladesh. Then ask him why Mr. Modi gave safe passage to Sheikh Hasina. There are more than 50 Muslim countries in the world. Ask her Sheikh Hasina to go. Why we will take the additional burden of Sheikh Hasina? Why we will get in confrontation with Bangladesh? Ask Mr. Modi to ask Sheikh Hasina to go to any other nation. So because he is losing poll, he want to create a difference between the Hindu, he want to mislead the Hindu community also. And the reality is that the casteist, the biggest caste chief minister of the India is Mr. Yogi Adityanath. From all the DM, SP, big officers, all the senior officers are from his community. You can cross-check. More than 40% officers in the Uttar Pradesh, they are from his community. There are no from the backward community, from the SC, ST community, from the OBC community, from the Yadav community. All from the Kshatriya community are in the top post, from the top level to all the district headquarters. This is the Hindu unity. This you call the Hindu unity. You don't
But
give
I
justice
don't know
to
why
all
you
and
say
are
it's
talking about
Hindu unity, because I don't think the Chief Minister used the word Hindu at all. He just said we should be together, and that's what nation building is about. But anyway, if that's what... Sure, if that's what the opposition has read between the lines, I'm no one to stop you from doing that. Sure,
we are not nursery students.
Sure, I'll give you that. Sure, you've read between the lines and you are well within your rights to do that. Sanju Verma, when the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh speaks of unity and speaks of a united front, he only preaches it, he doesn't practice, is the allegation that's been made by our political rivals.
You know, Poonam, let's get this very clear. As far as Rahul Gandhi and the entire opposition cabal goes, when they campaign in Maharashtra, the agenda, the narrative is Maratha versus non-Maratha, Kundi versus non-Kundi. Haryana mein, their narrative is Jat versus non-Jat. In Karnataka elections, it was all about Lingayats versus Vokaliggas and Vokaliggas versus Kurubas. You know, similarly in Tamil Nadu, it's all about Ayers versus Iyengars. And in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, it is all about Reddys versus Kammas and Kammas versus Kappus. So the limited point I'm making is that when it comes to electioneering, when it comes to campaigning, the opposition has always thrived on dividing Hindus because they know that the Muslim vote bank is a consolidated one. It votes en masse for the opposition. I have no qualms in admitting as much because that is what data suggests. It is the Hindus who are divided along caste lines, OBCs versus Dalits, Dalits versus Adivasis. Even within OBCs, you know, you will find people talking about Naidus versus Reddys. So the limited point is, if Yogi Adityanath is talking about nation building and national unity, पहली बात तो किसी को इससे परहेज नहीं होना चाहिए. Secondly, you have to be deaf, mute, blind to not be able to see the Hindu genocide in Bangladesh. If he's spoken about it, I would rather applaud him. He's at least had the guts to call out the bluff of what is happening under the garb of secularism. I have not seen Priyanka Vadra, who had, you know, so much to say on what is happening in Gaza. Rahul Gandhi, whose heart bled for what happened in Gaza. We all have felt that, but we are not blinded by selective amnesia. If I have the guts to condemn what happened in Gaza, I have also the guts to condemn what happened to Kashmiri Pandits in the 1990s and what has happened to Bangladeshi Hindus in 2024. But the so-called secularity cabal, Poonam, they जो कहते हैं ना गांधी जी के तीन बंदर, you know, कुछ बोलना नहीं, कुछ सुनना नहीं, कुछ देखना नहीं. They become like those गांधी जी के तीन बंदर when it comes to criticizing the mass obliteration of the Hindu community. That's my first point. And my final point is this. Have you seen one thing? You take any election campaigning, not in the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, पिछले 40-50 सालों में, you will never see the Rahul Gandhi cabal or the Akhilesh Yadav cabal or the Asaduddin Owaisi cabal talking about Sunnis versus Shias, Shias versus Rizvis, Rizvis versus Qadris, Qadris versus Sayyids, Sayyids versus Siddiquis, Siddiquis versus Qureshis, Qureshis versus Ahmadiyas. But हिंदुओं को डिवाइड करेंगे. यदि आज हम कहने लगे सुन्नी वर्सेस शिया वर्सेस अहमदिया वर्सेस हजारा वर्सेस रिजवी versus Nadeem versus Khadim, तो आपको कैसा लगेगा? This is exactly the bluff that has been called out by Yogi Adityanath, and the entire cabal is rattled. My last point, just I'll take 10 seconds. Here somebody spoke about, you know, caste and, you know, how Yogi Adityanath is very casteist. I've heard that about Prime Minister Modi on umpteen occasions. My final point is this on your debate, Poonam. The Rajiv Gandhi Foundation has Sonia Gandhi. Is she an OBC? No. Rahul Gandhi is part of the foundation. Is he an OBC? No. Priyanka Vadra is part of the foundation. Is she an OBC? No. Robert Vadra is part of the foundation. Is he an OBC? No. Suman Dubey is part of the foundation. Is he an OBC? No. Ashok Ganguly is part of the foundation. Is he an OBC? No. तो यहाँ बैठकर बीजेपी को तो भाषण देना बंद करिए.
Sure. So nobody is holier than thou as far as this is concerned. Adil Hassan, I see your hand going up. Quick rebuttal before I get in the others as well. But as far as division, Adil Hassan, and what you were talking about, that the BJP does not practice what you preach. You want to divide even the Hindu community and not give opportunity to certain sections within the Hindu community. But a caste census is a demand that even the AIMIM has backed. The reservation should not have a 50% bar. It should be without it. That bar should be breached, is what Asadun Owaisi said even today.
मैम, नरेंद्र मोदी ने पहली बार चुनाव प्रचार शुरू किया था, बोला था मैं ओबीसी हूँ. पहली बार मंत्रालय जिसको ओबीसी मिनिस्टर को मिला था, लोकसभा में उन्होंने बताया कि मैं ओबीसी मिनिस्टर बनाया हूँ. नरेंद्र मोदी ने हमेशा जा के कहा कि मैं ओबीसी हूँ, मुझे पिछड़े के नाम पे वोट दो. ये किसकी बात कर रही है? अब ये जो बांग्लादेश की बात कर रहे, शेख हसीना को क्यों इतना सेफ पैसे दिया गया, क्यों डोवाल को भेजा गया? फॉरेन मिनिस्टर इसी को बना दीजिए, योगी आदित्यनाथ को, क्योंकि ऐसे भी केशव प्रसाद मौर्य उन पर इल्जाम लगा रहे हैं. जयशंकर से नहीं समझ रहा है, फॉरेन मिनिस्टर योगी आदित्यनाथ को बना दीजिए. और आपने हमेशा कास्ट को बढ़ावा दिया है, बीजेपी ने दिया है. आज
तो फिर आप कास्ट सेंसस की डिमांड को क्यों बैक कर रहे हैं सर? आदिल हसन जी, संजू वर्मा, जस्ट अ सेकंड. आदिल हसन जी, आप कास्ट सेंसस की डिमांड को क्यों बैक कर रहे हैं? अगर सिर्फ बीजेपी कास्ट की बात करता है और कोई भी नहीं करता, एंड यू आर होलियर देन द, व्हाई हैज असदुद्दीन ओवैसी टुडे डिमांडेड अ कास्ट सेंसस?
लेट मी स्पीक. लोहिया जयंती, जयप्रकाश जयंती, वीपी मंडल कमीशन, सबकी जयंती भाजपा मनाती है. उनसे पूछिए, सबने ओबीसी रिजर्वेशन की बात की, सबने कास्ट की बात की.
सर, मैंने आपसे जो सवाल पूछा है उसका जवाब दीजिए ना.
लेट मी स्पीक. मैम, आप ही बताइए.
I want you to speak. I've asked you a question. Can you please answer that? I have to get in the other two gentlemen on the panel as well.
Yes, please. My concern is why BJP talks about OBC politics then? Because OBC and Dalit and SC are not getting the equal share.
But my simple problem, Adil Hassan, Sanju Verma, just one second. I'll come back to you. Please, let's not heckle anybody. Let's not heckle anybody, and I request this to every single panelist. Please, let's not speak over each other. Sanju Verma, please, I will come back to you. Sanju Verma, do not interrupt him, please. I will have to lower your fader. Please, let's keep this civil. Adil Hassan.
Yes,
you can accuse the BJP. You can accuse. I am asking him a question, Sanju Verma. Let him respond to me, please. Adil Hassan, I asked you a question. I asked you. I said that. Sanju Verma, if you heard me, I said to all my panelists, I request to keep this civil and let's not make this about you versus me. Let's bring this. Sure.
Yeah, thank you. So don't
Adil Hassan, Sanju Verma, please. Adil Hassan, my simple point to you was...
Don't lecture me.
Sanju Verma, can I please continue with this debate?
Yeah, please do that. But don't lecture
Adil
me.
Hassan, one simple question I had to ask you. If the BJP only the BJP is guilty of dividing, why does the AIMIM want a caste census?
Ma'am, we want caste system because we know in the present government all the equal caste are not getting the equal opportunity. Only 40 caste are getting representation in cabinet ministries. 70% representation are done by only 14% caste. So why not we will ask for equal
opportunity? So is that not division then? Is that not division? Is that not the opposition and the AIMIM wanting to divide the same thing that you accuse the BJP of doing?
Ma'am, we want equal justice for all the community, from the SC, ST, OBC, all the. Why only one community will get?
You don't want equal justice.
Sure. Okay. So it's okay. It's amusing you say that because it's okay if we do it, but if someone else does it, then it's a problem, and those different yardsticks can't be applied. But unfortunately, that's what we've seen all political parties cutting across. Sure. Okay, I take your point. Let me get in the other two gentlemen on the panel as well. Professor Sangeet Ragi, this caste census chorus, this caste card that the opposition has been trying to play, with what Yogi Adityanath said today, is he trying to blunt that? There are bypolls in Uttar Pradesh in a short while from now. We've seen the kind of performance that the BJP had in the recently concluded elections. There are other state elections as well. Is this a narrative that they're now trying to use to turn the tables on the opposition?
I think if we reduce it to the elections, coming election or impending election in the states, I think we are going to reduce the magnitude of the statement of Yogi Adityanath. I think that Hindus and this nation can ignore the advice of Yogi Adityanath only at the cost of its peril and destruction in times to come. What has happened in Bangladesh has already happened in Pakistan, has already happened in Afghanistan. Once upon a time, this country was, its border used to touch the border of the Persian Empire. And the Hindu got reduced, they were killed, they were massacred, their temples were destroyed. This happened in Afghanistan, this happened in Pakistan, this happened in the area adjacent to Persian Empire, this has happened in Bangladesh. The growing Islamic theology, the growing Islamic population and its radical theology is a threat not only to India but to the entire humanity and the world at large. What is happening in Europe today, what is happening in UK, what is happening in Australia, in France is a terrible case. The Muslims had migrated to those countries to take benefit of a good living standards over there. But now what they are doing, they want Sharia, they have cultivated the nursery of terrorism.
Okay,
that is happening.
Adil Hassan, he patiently,
Adil
Hassan, please don't interrupt him. I'll come back to you and give you your time to respond. He's just spoken. He's been patiently listening to all of you for the last 15 minutes. Let him finish, please. Professor Agi.
The problem is not with the Muslim community. The problem with the theology of Islam itself, which Ambedkar stated very categorically, that Hindu-Muslim relations